everyone. I'm Lauren Culp, the publisher and CEO at CUInsight.com, and I am joined today by Tyson Nargassans, the president and CEO of Saylent. Tyson, how are you?
I'm great, Lauren. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining us for our 3 questions with you today. That is the theme of our show, and I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. So we know that these are really, really difficult times for so many people. I'm curious, what is Saylent doing to support credit unions and their members right now?
Sure. So first, thanks for having me. I think this is a great thing that we're doing. It's always an interesting way to stay connected, but this is what we have to do in today's time. I think our first thing was to try and create urgency and focus without alarm. I think it's very difficult to be helpful if you're not yourself focused on what you need to do. And so we were pretty early in trying to get all the employees safe and healthy and home and be in a remote environment. And that became sort of priority one. And as a technology company, we had everything available to us. We weren't bound by any call centers or anything like that. We had done our own development. But, as is the case with everybody, you have the technology, but until you're really forced to adopt it and use it, that's always been a challenge. So I think that was priority one for us. So that we could get ready to go. And then second, I think we really tried to take stock in how we could be helpful. Like most companies, I think when this started to get more and more serious, I think everybody looked at their plans and said, well, I can't worry about my 2020 strategies and my 2020 plan. What can we do to be helpful? What can we do to survive? What are the things that are going to be most impactful to us, going forward?
Right.
So our solutions focus on analytics and member engagement, so those things still become relevant. But, I think when you started to think about what we did before, pre-crisis, we were fairly focused on how do you optimize the member relationship? How do you expand the behaviors that you want? How do you drive, different product sets within the credit union? I think that's really shifted. And today we're starting to look for leading indicators of financial stress. We're trying to find opportunities to, educate them and drive them to contactless transactions and to make them aware of opportunities to again, help them through these financial times. And so, it's not about driving spending at local merchants. It's a little bit more about thanking the frontline people and, again, staying connected on trying to use more remote deposit capture and online banking facilities. So I think we had some experience. We were founded in 2006, and we immediately went into the recession of 2008 and 2009 and had to learn in that time, how do you survive? How do you get through? And so I think it's always been about trying to stay focused on the task at hand and not trying to solve the world, and staying pretty focused on what you can do and what your part is, and staying centered on that.
Great, thank you. That's so interesting to hear about being founded in 2006. You all have been through this before.
Well, there are a couple of scars from that, but we're all through it now. So trying to leverage some of that experience, I think, has been helpful for us.
Absolutely. That makes total sense. Well, so great to hear about what Saylent is doing to support credit unions. So thinking ahead, I want to ask you, how do you think that this is going to affect the way that we do business, the way that credit unions do business in the long run? There might be some long-term changes here.
Yeah, it's funny. I've heard a lot of people talk about the new normal. To be fair, I'm really not sure, right? I have no idea if there'll be a new normal. I mean, I was hearing Dr. Fauci talk today about, will we ever shake hands again? To other people talking about, pre-COVID, is this going to look like just another flu? I mean, if you go back to, President's comments around, 1917 and the flu pandemic, is this going to be that, something else, or something in between? And I don't think we really know. And that's probably the most difficult thing about it, is the uncertainty of what will come and what is out ahead of us, and the unknowns to that are making it a pretty challenging time to really put your plans together and understand it. I mean, one of the things that we do right now is to try and stay connected. I mean, as the saying goes, necessity is sort of the mother of all innovation. Everything that we've done has forced change. We're operating, almost all the businesses are operating in a 100% remote environment. I mean, that's new for everybody. Yes. We're having this conversation over Zoom. 3 years ago, nobody knew Zoom.
Right.
So, I think we're just trying to get it on the positive side. I think what we're realizing is that we can do a lot of things remote. It's just different. And I think, the millennials have always been, as we've said in banking for some time, they don't want to come into the branch. They don't want to see it. Well, now nobody goes into the branch, and they're all operating remote. And so I think the people who accept that and really embrace it are the ones that are going to have opportunities going forward. Again, I think there is, opportunity through survival and opportunity through just learning how to adapt to the new norm. I mean, to make it personal to Saylent, I was a huge supporter and believer in being together and being collaborative and in an office environment. And, my staff and team would occasionally needle me a little bit about, how much do we have to be in the office? And we spend a lot of time commuting. And I'm starting to rethink, do we really need the office for everybody? Do we need an office or just a place to meet? And, is there something that we can do, and what tools are available, and how can we use those tools? So this afternoon, I'm doing the first sort of Saylent happy hour, where we're just, as a company going to get together for, 30, 40 minutes, whatever it might be, just to see each other. Not going to talk about work. We're going to have a drink. And, we would have done that in the office. As some technology companies do, we have a tap, and every now and again we'll have a beer or have a drink at the end of the day and get to know our colleagues. I think those kind of things need to happen, and trying to think about how we do this. I think if you go back to banking, the rise of fintech over the last, let's just say 5 years, I think we've enabled consumers to build their own financial institution. If you think about your phone, you probably have 7, 8, 9, 10 apps of financial service companies in there.
Right.
And so they've had that ability for some time. I think we have to adjust to the fact, and banking, credit unions in particular, have to adjust to the fact that in order to create a relationship, it's not going to be a face-to-face interaction anymore.
Right.
Or this will be the face-to-face interaction. So how do they not only survive, but how do they thrive in that environment? And I think that's the biggest thing that everybody needs to be asking. How do I stay connected? How do I stay engaged? And again, not to make this about Saylent or credit unions specifically, but I think there's a problem in banking overall about how do I stay connected and engaged with my customer? How do I become relevant? This is going to become one step further. You're going to have to use all the tools that you have in front of you, rather than just doing somebody's name and, they have 2 kids and they live here. How do you help them through whatever crisis, challenge, or opportunity they have in their life, so that they don't need to go build their own financial institution with all these different companies?
Right. Well, and for credit unions, it sounds like that technology competency is going to be even more important. Partnering with organizations like Saylent is going to be even more critical to be able to stay connected.
Well, you have a bunch of great companies in there. We're blessed to work with some of them. Culp Financial is a great partner of ours, and they do a tremendous job of trying to help their clients and their clients' members stay connected. I think we work real hard to support them, and I think everybody is trying to pull together and figure out how do we work in the new reality, whatever that turns out to be.
Right. Absolutely. Well, my last question for you, the third of 3 questions here, is how are you doing personally? What has been keeping you sane through these really tough times?
I think I'm trying to find new ways to connect, and I'm trying to take the time to be better, personally and as a company. I think, the little things from not letting the walls close in on you to being very, very close to your family members. I have, my beautiful wife and 2 beautiful daughters, and we're all together, and there's no time where we're not. And so I think we're learning that together. So we're trying to figure out how do you create both individual space and sort of, collective togetherness without, stepping on everybody. And
right.
So I'm a big basketball player. I had to figure out how to put up a basketball hoop on my back patio because it doesn't fit anywhere else. So I did that. My wife and I go for walks with the dog. The dog has no interest in walks anymore because we walk too much.
All the dogs are
Uh,
walking out.
I mean, that's, so it's those little things, and everybody else has done the same thing. The Zoom, family connections, and
Right.
everybody's using phone. I heard an ad from Verizon the other day that the 8 billion calls or something per day. I mean, it's up significantly from where it was before. So, I think those are I'm just trying to stay in a routine, right? I'm not trying not to let it all come down on me.
Right.
Keep getting up, keep coming to work, keep figuring out how to have some balance there, because that's the other part of being at home all the time is you're always at work in some way.
Right.
Um, so just trying to keep those lines clean and trying to make sure that it's, the employees and myself, we all take time to be sane, because this is not a sane time. So
It's not. Well, great. Thank you so much. I'll have to definitely look into getting a basketball hoop on my back deck. Sounds like a good way to survive here. Thank you so much for your time, Tyson. If anyone is interested in learning more about some of Saylent's work, I will link to their site here in the post. Thank you again for your time, and we'll look forward to someday, hopefully, running into each other in person.
absolutely. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you. Take care.